Hi, I'm Luke Elvey with Inside Golf, here with one of Australia's finest, Geoff Ogilvy. And Geoff, Australia's Summer of Golf coming up, exciting times obviously for the country again. You looking forward to getting back and getting stuck into the tournaments?
Oh yeah, always look forward to getting back to Australia. Most of our lives are pretty entrenched in the US now, so it's all year we look forward to getting back and playing a few tournaments in Australia and catching up with friends and seeing all the players that go and often play in Europe and Japan and Asia and stuff, catch up with all their friends. So it's something we'll look forward to, I think.
You guys have been tremendous in promoting Australian golf. Obviously the President's Cup last year gave it a huge impetus as well, but off the back end of that, times have been a little bit tough. And do you fear for the future of Australian golf at the tail end of the year, also given the fact that tours like the PGA are going to go year round now?
There's a lot of things going against us, I think. We fight for, there's a lot of other big events in Australia at that time, taking a lot of sponsorship money, the horse racing and the cricket starting and MotoGP, and tennis isn't that much after. So there's a lot of sports chasing the same kind of sponsorship dollar. So we've got those troubles. We also have Europe and the PGA Tours squeezing us with the dates. There's a lot of great events happening later and later and later in the year, and we seem to be kind of running out of good weeks. We don't have any open weeks now, and we've got to choose events to go against and still hope we do well. So it's world economics is conspiring against Australian golf a little bit, but there's a big place for Australian golf tournaments. We have some of the best golfers and some of the best golf tournaments, and some of the best players in the world. So I mean, there's a place for us. We're always going to be quite strong, but there's things that make it difficult for us. So I think the more Australian golfers can get back and play, and the public can embrace it, and all the positive stuff can happen. I mean, I think reasonable stuff can happen, but it's difficult for sure.
Do you fear for the future of the tour, given that, as you say, world economics and the way big tours are becoming behemoths, it might just actually gobble us up?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the Australian Open and its partner tournaments for the PGA and the Masters especially are quite prestigious tournaments. The Australian Open is one of the oldest tournaments in the world. I mean, Nicholas and Gary Player and Norman, and there's some pretty massive names on it. It's a pretty historic trophy, so I think there's always going to be a pretty big place for that in golf. And if you can have one prestigious great event, you can have a few around it. And as I said, we're always going to compete against other big tournaments. But I mean, maybe the future is to try to find some sponsorship dollars from outside Australia and Asia maybe, and tie into some of their stuff, so we can create more money that way. And unfortunately, the economics of it's professional golf. Money brings players, and players create big events. So I think it's possible. I don't think we'll get gobbled up. I think, as I said, there's a lot of things conspiring against the tour, but I think we'll do all right.
Everyone got super excited with Adam having a tremendous run at Lytham to try and win the Open Championship, and played superbly, but the reaction back home was quite negative. Something that we seem to see all the time now, that they just don't embrace you guys, our champions. I mean, there's so much tremendous stuff you guys do over here in the United States, but it just doesn't seem to get the love. Does it frustrate you as a player? I mean, you're a major champion, you've had great success, you've won 3 WGC events. Does it frustrate you that perhaps you guys don't get the love you deserve?
I don't know, it's hard. I mean, as I said, golf competes. I mean, especially with the footy in Australia now, that's just gone so crazy in the last 20 years. I mean, there really isn't anything else that matters for 8 months, in Melbourne especially. So it's pretty difficult to get anyone's attention with anything during the year. I think the majors obviously do, like the tennis Grand Slams do and the golf majors do. It obviously would have been a massive boost for Australian golf if Adam had got home at the Open. It was a shame that he didn't in the end. Maybe one of us can win the PGA next week to create a bit of excitement. It's funny. I mean, I think sometimes there is a bit of negativity in the press. It gets written, so the public can only go on what they read in the papers and they see on the TV. So if that comes across negative sometimes, perhaps they don't think we're trying our best or we're not really doing very well. I think they can only go on what they read and they hear. But we're all trying very hard, and I think when we get back in November, December, we all get received pretty well and people get right into it. And I think maybe we just kind of get a bit forgotten about when we disappear off to America again, and that's kind of fair enough. There's other stuff going on. We feel a lot of love when we're back there. It is what it is. I mean, as I said, footy takes over, and there's a lot of other sports that take people's attention, so we're just trying to squeeze into a little bit of that space with golf.
They are juggernauts, those footy codes. That's ridiculous. Obviously, the world's going nuts right now with the Olympic Games going on in London. It's very exciting times. Next Olympic Games in Rio, golf's entering the Olympics or returning to the Olympics. They've chosen a 72-hole stroke play format, which doesn't differ from what we see week to week on the various tours around the world. Do you think that the IOC and golf has made a good decision in going that way, or do you think that they should go another way to try and promote golf? Because as we've seen with tennis, by keeping the same format, it doesn't really capture anyone's imagination. And in most people's minds, a gold medal should be the pinnacle of someone's sport.
Well, I don't think you're ever going to find a situation where the Olympic gold medal is going to be the pinnacle of golf. There's 4 pretty well-established events that it's got to get in front of, and that's going to be pretty difficult for the Olympics. But 4 rounds of stroke play we do see every week all year. I think it's a good opportunity to do something different. I think you see how much people embrace the Ryder Cup and the President's Cup. If you could get some sort of team element involved at the same time, maybe running concurrently with the individual event, some sort of interesting stroke play, match play type stuff where you play stroke play but you play each other for 18 holes and whoever has a lower score. So you could have a total score at the end of the week, and you could also have kind of a knockout situation at the end with a team scenario or something slightly more interesting than stroke play. I think 72-hole play, stroke play is fine, and it stood the test of time, and we play all our biggest events like that. But it might be an opportunity, especially with no prize money, and it not really needing to be like fair who finishes 20th or 15th or 8th. It's like you're really just trying to find the guy who plays the best that week. It's probably a good opportunity to create some sort of fun team event and to have maybe a slightly different format than the one we see now. Because I think the sports that do well in the Olympics, a lot of them the fields get smaller each day. You got knockout stuff kind of going on, and you get a gold medal match or a bronze medal playoff match or whatever. I mean, I think that's more interesting than having 75 guys playing on the last round for the gold medal and 68 of them are out of it, which would be kind of an odd scenario. You know, normally we've got something to play for. 15th is better than 20th and 10th is better than 15th. But when there's only 3 medals getting handed out, there's going to be a lot of guys perhaps losing a bit of interest in the last couple of rounds if they're out of the tournament. So I think 72 holes stroke play would be fine. And as I said, it stood the test of time and it's a great format. But it's probably an opportunity to do something a little bit more interesting. And I think if you could get a team element in there too, you might get more guys embracing it more and getting more excited about it.
Yeah, couldn't agree with you more. Thanks, mate. Cheers.
No worries, Luke.
Good on you.
Cheers.